This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. We spend a half hour on Saturday mornings talking about things that are going on in the community, things that we want to draw your attention to. Katy Huckle is here with me right now. And Katy, you do not know our guest, I don't believe.
I don't think I've met Lori before.
Lori Yazbeck is with us, and Lori and I have talked a lot on the radio over the years.
Okay.
And your life's journey has taken an interesting turn. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of twists and turns here over the past few years. Why don't we start by introducing yourself and talking a little bit about the Lori Yazbeck story?
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, things have definitely taken a turn. As you know, my name's Lori Yazbeck. My son, Daniel, took his life August 9th, 2018, which was very hard.
3 years ago.
Yes.
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
In many ways, that probably seems like yesterday to you.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to cope, but the pain is always there. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not a time that doesn't go by that I don't think about him. So he had a dream. He purchased a van, and he had a dream of traveling in it. And it was something that I had discussed with him. So it was both our dreams to travel. And so he didn't finish his van. And I decided I was going to finish it and live out his dream and my dream and spread suicide awareness as I travel.
So this is satisfying multiple things in your mind.
Yes.
So let's talk about why don't we give thanks out there to some of the folks who helped you make this van a reality.
Oh my gosh, there's so many that
I've been following your journey on Facebook, so I know you've had a lot of people who've come up alongside you here.
I really have. I couldn't have done it without help from a lot of special friends. It was a lot of hard work. It took us almost a year to finish the van. A lot of unexpected things happened.
What year van is this, and what is the make and the model?
It's a 95 Chevy G20 cargo van.
Okay. See, when I see it, I think of Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Machine.
Oh,
do you?
Wow.
Yes, and actually we have a Scooby-Doo steering wheel cover.
Oh, you do?
That's
How perfect
awesome.
is that? Okay. So it needed work.
Yes, it did need a lot of work. I mean, Daniel started it. He had quite a bit of work on it, but it did blow a head gasket.
Oh, boy.
So we did 90% of the work ourselves. A lot of hard work, but a lot of friends helped.
Can you sleep in the van, Lori?
Yes.
Oh, you can?
Oh, yes.
So that's part of your journey, too. You can stay right in the
It
van.
has all the comforts of home.
Oh, my goodness. Did Daniel share with you what he wanted to see and where he wanted to go?
He loved nature.
Okay.
He loved the outdoors. He loved being in the woods. He loved being outside. So that's...
So it might have been a Yellowstone in the Black Hills and maybe Montana and Wyoming. And, Wow.
Yeah.
So where are you going first?
I originally had plans of going up to the UP and heading west. But since I've already been up there twice and we had issues with the van, now I'm going to go down through Chicago and Illinois and head west. So, I'm trying not to plan too much because I just kind of want to go on the spur of the moment type thing.
Right.
Kind of any way the wind blows.
Exactly. And I think that's what Daniel would have done.
Okay.
And I have to tell you that a lot of people would endeavor to have that kind of life, not for the reason that you're having it, but to just get in the car and go wherever the day takes you.
Yeah.
Are you excited by that life?
I am. The couple trips that I have taken in it, I was at peace, which I haven't been at peace for 3 years.
Right.
I sleep really well, which is I don't sleep at home, so I feel at peace. It's hard to describe. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Because you're living his dream and it feels like he's with you.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely.
what a story. So when you meet people on your travels and on your journey, what are you going to share with them, Lori?
I have stickers.
Okay.
And I have quite a few objects of Tears from Daniel. So I bring up the fact that I'm traveling in my son's van, and that opens a conversation that he took his life, and there's an epidemic of suicide, and we are trying to bring awareness so that nobody else has to go through the pain that I live with every day. Mm-hmm. Every time there's a suicide in our community, it's like reliving that night.
I'm so sorry.
And
honestly, and it's happening, still happening too much.
Too much. Mm-hmm. Too many suicides in our community, and it's got to stop. I don't know how. I'm trying so hard. Mm-hmm. I don't want people to go through what my family has gone through. It's a horrible, horrible thing.
And I'm sure you've gone back through the days leading up to when that happened and thought, where were the signs? What were the signs? Did I miss something? So
exactly.
What would you say to a parent who might suspect that their child is struggling with this kind of thing? What do you look for?
Right.
We didn't know that Daniel was struggling so bad. I wish that the schools would teach the children the signs, teach them about mental health. I wish the teachers, everybody should be educated in it, because if we would have been educated, if his friends would have been educated and reached out to me, and I could have seen the warning signs, because now I can look back, I see the warning signs, and we could have done something. There's help out there, but we didn't know. And that's the biggest thing, is we need to educate everybody,
right,
so that this doesn't continue happening.
So, Katie, I never met Daniel, but I know a lot of his friends, a lot of his mutual friends.
Okay.
And what they say to a person about Daniel was that he was a kid who would give you the shirt off of his back. And he was an empathetic person and wanted everyone else to be happy, and probably did that to his own detriment. He put other people first.
He did. He was so busy helping everybody else that he didn't help himself.
I see.
I've heard so many stories of people will come up to me, and if it wasn't for Daniel, maybe they wouldn't be here. Mm-hmm. He was that kind of a person. He would do anything at the drop of him. I mean, he would do it. He didn't care what time it was. He didn't care what kind of money he had in his pocket. He'd give his last dollar. That's just the kind of person he was. In
a way, that has to be somewhat calming to you, to know that he was that kind of a person.
Very, very proud of who he was.
Yeah.
Right.
Very proud of him. He was everything a mother would hope and dream for.
Wow.
He was smart. He was intelligent. He was loving, caring, giving, just hard worker, handsome, just what a mother would want.
Yeah.
So then you go back and you think, okay, where can we find the signs in folks now? And you do mention, the teaching. I have to say, mental illness tends to run in digital media production students. We tend to attract the really creative kids, maybe the kids who haven't fit in as well in their home schools. And I will say this to every teacher within our listening area. If you see something, talk to them. Mm-hmm. Take them out into the hallway, have a conversation. If they're acting out, there's probably a reason why. Get to the bottom of it.
Exactly.
And you do not want to respond to anger with more anger and, and
reach out to the parents.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, one of Daniel's teachers knew that he was having trouble, but didn't reach out to me, and I wish he would have. Mm-hmm. So it's important. I mean, if the parents don't know, Daniel was really good at hiding his feelings. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, his friends, teachers, workplace, they need to let the parent know, because if they don't let them know, how are they going to help them?
Right.
And they sometimes have an easier time reaching out to a teacher, someone they don't see every day, because it's not, they don't want to burden you with something. Mm-hmm. So, the people who are with those folks have a great responsibility. And if you see something, say something.
Yes.
Because you might be the only person that person is sharing something with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I call these action items. It's not just listen. If it's that serious, it's listen and do something.
Yes. Absolutely.
And of course, hindsight's always 20/20. But I also think, Lori, that there's this stigma that we've got to get over too. It's okay to say I'm not okay. But I think with social media and everyone, wants to be a Hollywood movie star and everyone wants to have a big life and selfies and all this kind of stuff, everything isn't always okay. And it's okay to tell someone I'm struggling and I'm hurting and here's why. And, I can't stop hyperfixating on X, because there's meds for people, there's counseling for people, there's free help. And Dr. Whalen was on the show, who's the medical director from Munson, our local leader, Jim Whalen. And he was explaining that in was it grade schools, Rich? They'd done a mental health analysis of the students and seen a lot of depression and anxiety because of COVID and because of life getting turned upside down. Everybody living it in the same roof all day, every day.
Isolation.
That's it. And then it's, I'm giving myself the goosebumps, because it's like, now what are we going to do with these kids and how are we going to help these kids? And do we even have enough resources?
No, we don't. There's a huge shortage.
Okay.
Huge shortage.
And that is what I want to talk about next on segment 2, because there is a crusade, there is a mission to open a center in the Cadillac area that can assist with mental health and can assist with these kinds of things that you are going to be kind of telling the story about. As we've talked about Tears from Daniel, but Travels for Daniel is going to be the YouTube page that will document Lori's travels. And we invite everyone to subscribe to that. And we're going to talk about that coming up next on Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's Cadillac Unscripted Part 2 with Lori Yazbeck on 107.9 CDY. We're talking about Tears from Daniel. We're talking about Travels for Daniel, this is actually a new YouTube page where you can follow Lori Yazbeck's travels as she goes around, and she's in this van that Daniel started, and Lori and her friends completed. And you're going to travel the country spreading the word about suicide awareness.
Yes.
How?
Whenever I get the chance, if I stop at a gas station, if I stop at a rest stop, wherever I can bring up the conversation, it's going to come up. Mm-hmm.
You have found yourself a very, I would call it an unwilling spokesperson for this. But I know people have come to you for advice.
Yes.
And I know you're happy to give it.
Yes.
And you're happy to spread the word. We've already talked about where you're going, but we need to talk about the hope that you have of establishing a center in the Cadillac area for parents, for people who are having mental health difficulties. What is your... I know Katie has a question she loves to tee up for nonprofits, and I'm going to have her save that for now, because I can't wait to hear how you answer this. Mm-hmm. But what is your idea about a center, a mental health center in Cadillac? What do we need besides money?
There's such a shortage in mental health right now. So we want to open up a free center for everybody. For not just Cadillac, but for all the surrounding communities, because we have so many people reaching out for help. And so we want to make it available to anybody and everybody. People need help, and we want to provide that help.
Lori, let me ask you, do you envision like a drop-in clinic where I'm having a really bad day and I need to talk to someone and I call ahead and say, can I get in today type thing?
Absolutely. Even if somebody was struggling at the last minute and they came in, we would not turn them down.
Okay.
You'd
find someone to speak to them.
Yes, because that's so important. We can't let a minute slip by. If somebody's reaching out, we don't want them to put it off. Oh, I'll be okay, and then do something to harm themselves later. So if somebody's reaching out for help, we want to fulfill that right then and there.
Okay.
Like, that's so important, because you don't know what's going on in their mind.
Mm-hmm. You don't know what they're going to do.
Exactly.
What is your vision for it? I know you have gotten a lot of solace from your art. Are you thinking of having a blank canvas so people can come in and create art or play music or that kind of thing?
We were thinking, hey, it's hard for some people to reach out for help, so we were thinking like having hey, come on in and have a cup of coffee, sit down and talk. Sometimes it just needs somebody else, that stranger. Sit down and have a cup of coffee, and maybe that will open things up, make them feel more comfortable. And then we want to offer free art classes, free music, whatever we can do to make people feel comfortable at coming in so that they're not ashamed. Because like you said, there's a stigma, and people feel ashamed. Oh, suddenly your mental health is not as important as your body, your physical health. No, it's just as important. So we want people to feel comfortable, be able to come in and talk freely and, just get people help. So whatever it takes, we want to do that for the communities.
As you put miles on this van, will there be healing that happens with that?
Oh, most definitely. Like, Danny made such a huge impact in people's lives, and he's going to continue to make that impact in people's lives. And I feel like that's my job now.
Right. You are on a mission. Don't bet against her, Rich.
Well, and I will tell you this, Lori is not a microphone person. She's not one who wants to be in front of the camera, but you're going to make the sacrifice to spread this word.
Yeah, I've never been a people person.
Okay.
Never been a people person. So I'm a little camera shy, a little microphone shy, but I'm willing to do this for the cause. It's that important to me. So I have to get over to that.
I think she's doing great.
You're doing fantastic. But like I said, this is a conversation between friends.
That's right.
Lori and I have chatted a lot before. So you're planning to go out west. Is this going to be a daily documentation, day by day? Are you going to be running a camera on yourself most days, firing up the phone? Here's where I am today. How's this going to look for the folks who subscribe to it on YouTube?
Well, I don't want to bore anybody. So, when I come across an interesting place or some place that looks, like it might be of interest.
Traveling in a van, going wherever the wind blows and wherever you want to go hardly sounds boring to me.
That's right.
And documenting that.
I want to go along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have the chance to.
Well,
virtually.
We'll go virtually and we'll
YouTube.
follow her and cheer her along. This is my favorite question for nonprofits, which that's what this thing for Daniel will be. If money were no object, what would Lori do?
That center would be open tomorrow if I could. That's how important this is. Like, when COVID shut everything down, we needed that center so bad.
Right.
Because mental health got worse, more isolation.
Yes.
It did nothing but hurt it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I worry, too, about folks that have been on unemployment for so long, coming out of that and the shock of having to go back to work and structure again. We interviewed some high school seniors well over a year ago. And it was, interestingly enough, both Rich and I had seniors in high school that year when we interviewed the seniors. We talked to 6 of them. One of them would tell us she is not a student. She didn't like to go to school. And all of a sudden, after the pandemic, not only did she like to go to school, she liked her teachers. She missed her fellow students.
It's because the structure fell apart.
It did. And we all need some structure. We all have to get out of bed, and we all have to make our bed. And we all, and some of that's good for you.
And that's very interesting because we're talking with Lori, who is not going to have any structure at all. It's just going, your life is going to be whatever happens to be that day. Mm-hmm. And there's a little bit of envy there that goes with that. So it's gonna be fun to watch this journey as it continues. But going back to Katie's question, what does it take at this point to move forward? Do you need a place?
We need a place.
Okay.
And I feel like if we really had to, we're like halfway there money wise.
Oh, wow.
That's
awesome.
I would like more, but if we really had to, like, I would say we're halfway there.
That's excellent.
That's how desperate we want to get this open.
What's your timeline?
We thought we would have already had it open,
Okay.
but COVID put a huge dent. Everything stopped. We stopped fundraising. We stopped doing everything. So I feel like now it's like we're trying to start all over again. Mm-hmm. So we need people. We need volunteers. Mm-hmm. We need more people to get involved because it's like we're starting all over again, mm-hmm. which is unfortunate. And I think people are still living in fear. So it's hard for people to, get back out into the normalcy of life.
I do too.
So it's not going to be easy,
no.
But we desperately need more people to get involved.
How do people get involved?
They can contact us on Tears from Danny on Facebook. We have the website, Tears from Danny, without the L.
Okay.
And they can contact us even through Travels for Daniel. On there also.
Are you going to be documenting this on Facebook too, Travels, or is that going to be exclusively on YouTube?
We'll have some posts on my Facebook, my personal Facebook, but I would like everybody to go to the YouTube channel.
Okay.
So
Lori, I think that this is going to happen naturally with people. I think you're going to meet a lot of people that have a story to tell too. And I think it will be cathartic for folks to process this with you and to talk about next steps and for them to see you do something about it. It's one thing to sit in grief and then the grief it's overwhelming, it can consume you. And so to see you in action, I think you will inspire other folks that have been touched by this to do something.
Actually, my last trip I took, I was talking to the host at the campsite.
Okay.
And the husband had a nephew that took his life, and the wife had a family member that had just taken their life. So it did open up the conversation. Mm-hmm. And so you'd be surprised at how many people it does affect. Right. So I want to share people's stories too. So I will be interviewing people, and maybe they can tell their story on YouTube, and it might touch somebody else. So.
Oh, wow. I see that going viral.
And
I really do.
And those kinds of stories will help break the stigma.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah, we need to talk about it.
Right.
And not be ashamed of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of those, well, they seem normal. You seem normal. Well, again, it's not everything's normal and not everything's okay all the time.
And as you said, stories will come from places where you don't expect them to come from.
Right.
You will maybe see this family that has the most outwardly normal appearance, mm-hmm. and there is someone struggling within that family, mm-hmm. or has made that decision to end their life within that family, and that's where the stigma ends. That's where we get a conversation going, and let's hope it leads to more conversation and a center in Cadillac at some point very soon.
I hope so.
So, what kind of, you were talking about, music and art and things like that. Mm-hmm. You just want to have a place where people can talk, essentially.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Somewhere they can feel safe mm-hmm. and comfortable, and let's get these people some help.
Will you have counselors around that
yes,
can help
and
them with next?
That's another thing. We need counselors to volunteer some time.
Okay.
So we're going to need that also. We had some lined up before COVID.
Right.
But as you know, there's a shortage right now. Oh, so we need even college kids that maybe need some hours for their externship, that need to put in some hours. So, we'll take those too.
Okay.
We'll train. We'll have people go to classes and get trained so that they can talk to people too. Because I try to get all my board members to go to class so that they can be trained, mm-hmm. so that they know mm-hmm. how to talk to people. Because that's really important, because you can say the wrong thing.
Right.
So it's so important to know what you're doing.
Yeah,
because you don't want to push somebody.
You don't want to say the wrong thing when someone's already in a delicate position anyway.
Exactly, and you want to give them the tools to get better and to feel better. And I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this.
Let's hope.
Yeah. All right. So tell us how folks can follow your journey and follow Tears from Daniel.
They can go to Travels for Daniel on YouTube. It's just like it sounds, Travels for Daniel. I'm on there. There's information. If you go on the About, there's some emails there how to contact us. We have a donor box there where people can donate. We hope to sell T-shirts and a few other items. They can also go on Facebook. We have Tears from Daniel on Facebook. We also have the regular webpage, Tears from Daniel, but it's without the L.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
DANIE.
yes.
Okay.
So there's a few ways you can contact us.
We want people to reach out to Lori, and we want people to write her some checks, Rich.
Yes, we do.
Let's end on a smile. We understand you have a travel companion that's pretty cute. Tell us about that.
Yes, I have what's called a dorky. It's a dash hound and a Yorkie.
I've never heard of this. A dorky.
A dorky.
That's adorable.
Yes, so she's my travel companion. She's not very big.
Okay.
She has one blue eye, one brown eye, one ear up, one ear down, and she loves to travel. So she will be my travel companion. She has her own car seat.
Oh, boy.
So
You're going to open up conversations with that dog.
yeah.
And I understand she's dappled, too, so
Yep.
she's got some funky coloring.
Yep, she does. She's very unusual.
If you could see Lori's smile right now, you'd be smiling.
So yeah, make it a point. Hop on YouTube, subscribe to Travels for Daniel. We're going to watch Lori as she makes her journey, and you are going to be going around the country. But you do have a board here that will be working locally,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. So
Good.
even though you're going to be out of state from time to time,
Yep.
there are people here on the ground, boots to the ground,
Yep.
working for this group.
Exactly.
We just need more of them. Everybody needs to support this lady in her mission.
Yeah.
And write them a check.
That's right.
Yes.
All right. Lori Yazbeck, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
You are an inspiration to me, and I love watching your journey as we go here. And thanks for coming on and sharing with us.
Thank you so much.
It's Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank on 107.9 CDY. Join us next week. More local chat on Cadillac Unscripted.